lives and so forth. Usually it's used to say, I've not built roads in my county. They think it's, they try to use it for a picture of today. So the problem that had haunted this ecosystem for decades. I'm speaking of conflict, speaking of banditry and cattle rustling. For far too long, the Kerio Valley has been theater of violence. But why does this happen? It happens because when resources become scarce, when rivers dry up, when grazing lands dwindle, when there is no water for livestock, when there is no plan for livelihood, desperation turns into conflict. The cattle rustler is often just a young man who has lost hope because his environment has collapsed, or his government has not involved him in the protection of that environment, or that they are desperate for livelihood. Mother Earth is sending a message of distress through the increasing landslide. We need to act to save Cherangani Hills ecosystem and the people who depend on it. It's a massive undertaking, but with our collective determination and cooperation, it is achievable. For perspective, which has been shared, this ecosystem spans 414,928 hectares across 4 counties, including 22 gazetted forests covering about 100,000 hectares, and feeds over 22 major rivers flowing into Lake Victoria and Lake Turkana, among others. It is also home to unique species like the Brazza monkey and the crowned eagle, rich in indigenous heritage from the Sengwer, Okiek, Pokot, various subclans of both communities, Pokots, Marakwets, the cradle of athletic excellence that continues to inspire the world. Some of the top athletes grow up and still train in this ecosystem. This is not just a forest, it's a national life support system. Today, that system is under severe pressure. 15% of the ecosystem is already extremely degraded, over 62,000 hectares. 67% is moderately degraded, and 41,547 hectares of forest cover lost. 96,757 hectares of grassland is also degraded. What we are witnessing is not just an environmental degradation, it is the slow erosion of security, livelihoods, and stability. This is why we joined hands as friends and professionals from the 4 counties and initiated Cherish, a 10-year Kenya shillings 14.7 billion strategic intervention anchored in President Dr. William Samoei Ruto's 15 billion tree agenda. There are 4 objectives in this program. First is the restoration of the 62,038 hectares of highly degraded escarpments and riparian lands. We want to have a honesty conversation about the Spencer line and to save the to ensure that people follow the Spencer line. If you go home, you know, Mr. Spencer, who was an agriculture officer, is the one who walked along this government to guide people to ensure that they are following up that line, and introduced various crop methods. I hope you know. I don't know if it is everywhere, but where I come from, that huge cabbage, the big cabbage, is called Spencer. Where we come from. Sometimes you think it's all over Kenya. Because Mr. Spencer, I think, is the one who introduced among them that cabbage. So if you go home, you'll hear wazee wanasema, hey, niliona cabbage yangu mzuri sana ile ya Spencer. And that is legacy. That is really legacy. For somebody who was there many years ago to leave crops that are named after him. Yeah. Up to now, that's called Spencer. Number 2 is to protect 20 springs and secure our water towers. You know, Aror Dam, Mbobut Dam that was supposed to be constructed, Kimware Dam, are actually depending on this ecosystem. You know that Chebara Dam, which serves largely Wasingishu and particularly Lore Town, is a very important. You know Kapolet water intake project that serves Kitale and all those areas is extremely. You know Murunj Dam that is supposed to serve Kapenguria and the entire place up to Chebareria is very important. So we are talking about livelihoods. We are talking about protecting springs, rivers, protecting life, protecting Takwel Dam, protecting Turkana, protecting Kerio Valley. You know, there is no Kerio Valley without Cherangani Hills. There is absolutely no Kerio Valley without Cherangani Hills. And let me tell you this. I know for sure, if Cherangani Hills is not restored, everybody from the valley will be coming up, and the conflicts will continue. When that time, when there was cutting of trees so much, everybody was from the valley was coming to claim ancestral presence up there, and you know, because they had guns and so forth, there was a lot of fights from Tuturung to Maron to every corner of that place. So, and it's part of it is still giving us security challenges even as of now. So it's important to protect this. 3, create 500,000 green jobs for youth in the beekeeping, agroforestry, and ecotourism. I am not ashamed to say my ward is one of the poorest wards in the country. That is a fact. And it is driven by this correlation between people not having titles, being chased around and out of the forest, and at the same time, being unable, you know, like nearly nobody in Mbobut has a title. You know that, including myself. We're all squatters. Thank you. So, so the point I'm trying to make is that, where was I? I was saying that creating these jobs is very important, because you are living in a place where there's no title, there's no guarantee for a job. Everybody from Mbabut, they make little money, they go to Cherangani, you go and buy land. Everybody from there, you go to Wazingishu, because there is no land, there is no house, there is no what. I really look forward to this program giving people proper livelihoods, because we are involving them to protect the forest, and we are helping them to plant trees, we are helping them for beekeeping, we are supporting their education scholarships, we will make sure that ecotourism is returned, and involve the people by telling them this is the benefits that you are going to get as a community. And that's, I was just using Mbobut as an example. Where this man comes from, my friend, Joel Arumonya, I don't think is the most dangerous place. His own house is the most dangerous. Because you know what happened, and you allow me to say this, while we were being harassed by the police in the Mbobut side, the Pokot side were allowed to just continue. So they actually finished the most, you know, steep areas of the forest. If you go to Tabach, yeah, you go to Tabach and along all those escarpments of Tabach, I mean, the landslide that happened in Sondany and Tamkal were inevitable. And it is not that we all know, even sitting in this house, that it will happen again unless something is done. So